Now that you feel comfortable converting between angles and curves, let's practice making a closed shape, in this case a circle. So let's add another artboard, window artboards, and here I have my artboard menu. I'm going to click on that side and I'm going to say new artboard. If I zoom out, Command minus, you see now I have two artboards. These artboards would be printed pages, two separate printed pages if I printed this out. If you want your artboard to fit, you can say view, fit artboard in window, and there we have our second artboard. I can turn on view rulers, show rulers. See, I have these marks on the X and Y axis. If I click on the ruler and drag, I can drag out a guide, and I'm going to click on the x-axis and draw out a guide. The number doesn't matter right now. I'm just using the guides for where to place my points, not for a measurement. Go back to my pen tool and I'm going to make a circle. One way to make a circle is with 4 points, where it would be 12 o'clock on a clock. Then I'm going to go to 3 o'clock, click and drag, and then click and drag, click and drag. And then on my last point, I want to make sure I close the shape. Move my cursor over my first point so I get that circle next to my cursor on the bottom right corner. And then when I click and drag, I've closed the shape. If I need a curve on this side of my point, I can pull it out with my anchor point tool. I can change to my direct selection tool and adjust it to more or less a circle. So this looks like a hand-drawn circle. If I ever wanted a perfect circle, of course, at any time I can use the ellipse tool. If I hold down Shift and Option, I'll draw out from the center, and that's a very easy, perfect circle. This circle and this circle are very different. I can edit the points of even my geometrically perfect circle. I can change to the direct selection tool, select a point, and I can even make it slightly irregular. So I can make the perfect slightly imperfect so that they look more like each other. If you create a shape with the shape tool, you can still edit the points. So let's practice making a hand-drawn circle one more time. With the pen tool, a black stroke, no fill. Let's do it freehand here. If you want to stop viewing the guides, if you want to hide the guides, you can say view guides, hide guides, or command semicolon. I'm going to click on what would be 12 o'clock and then click, hold down the mouse, drag perpendicular in the direction of travel. Click and drag, click and drag. This is a funny looking circle. Click and drag. If I need the curve on the other side of that point, I change to my anchor point tool. And now I change to my direct selection tool. So if a point doesn't go well, you can continue until you close the shape. Now keep going. Stay calm, carry on, and then after you close the shape, you can go back and fix it. Closed shapes, of course, don't have to be regular. If I go back to my pen tool, they can be as irregular and full of, if I make click and release a bunch of times, I make angles. If I click and drag, I make curves. And remember, always close your shape. Cover the first point with the last point. It's very important to close your shapes because then you have a shape with a stroke. And when you're ready, you can assign a fill. So fill can be assigned from the swatch, from the color picker, and from the palette. Now we're ready for the next step.